In this video, I'm going to show you how to place the rear ABS sensor on this Chevy Equinox. Let's get started. Use a 22mm socket to remove all 5 lug nuts and then pull the wheel off. Let's remove the two 15mm bolts that hold the caliper onto the knuckle. We're going to have to get the rotor off for this job. There we go, set those aside. Remove the caliper. I'm just going to set it up on top of the upper control arm here. Basically, what you want is to avoid putting pressure on this brake hose. The rotor's held on with this screw here. I'm going to take a punch and punch right in the center of it. What that does is it helps loosen it up. Now use a T30 Torx bit and remove this screw. Hopefully yours isn't stuck on there. A lot of times these do get stuck, and if you have a power tool to help you out, it usually does make this job a little bit easier. There we go. As you try to impact it off, put pressure on it so that it can push the threads in and help loosen it up. Now the rotor should be able to come off at this point, but mine's a little bit stuck on the hub here. So I'm going to spray rust penetrant and then tap right between the lug studs. That's going to help break it free and pull it off. There we go. With the rotor off, you can see the ABS sensor right in there on the wheel bearing. Now the brake shoe, or the parking brake shoe, is in the way, unfortunately, but we don't have to remove it. All I'm going to do is pop this retainer off, push it forward. That should give us just enough access to get to this. I like to use some locking needle nose pliers, or you can just use regular needle nose pliers if you don't have locking ones, but if you clamp onto this outer cap gently, you don't want to crush it. You can hold it and move it around as needed. Much easier if you have locking pliers clamped on. Follow this pin all the way onto the back side and you'll see and feel where it goes through the backing shield. You're going to have to hold it. This one's quite rusty, so I'm going to have to move it around to break the cap free from the pin. But if you push and twist 90 degrees, the cap should unlock from the pin. Now, like I said, mine is quite rusted on here. I sprayed it down with rust penetrant. Hopes that would help me out. There we go. Save this hardware unless it's in such poor condition that you can't reuse it. Inspect it since you're here. Push the pin through the back side. There we go. Now you can see the ABS sensor right here. Use a 5mm Allen to remove the bolt that holds that ABS sensor in. And with some needle nose pliers, I'm going to carefully grab onto it, wiggle it, and pull it straight out. There is an O-ring on it. Usually that's what makes it stuck. There it is. There's a gasket or a grommet that goes through the backing shield. Pull that through. Get the ABS sensor out through here and then follow the wire right where it connects onto the electrical connector here. If you just press on that tab, pull the connector out, disconnect it. You can continue pulling it through the backing shield until it comes out, just like so. There's your sensor. And to install the new one, you just reverse the procedure, go in through the backing shield with the connector side, pull it up and through, line up that grommet, try to seat it in if you can. If not, at least run the wire for now, and just plug it in. Make sure that clicks. Follow the wire, make sure it's routed correctly. On the grommet, you want to make sure that it is pulled through, not all the way, but until it's locked in. just move it around and wiggle it. That feels perfect right there. Then you want to take the sensor, get it carefully in position. You can use those needle nose pliers to guide that sensor in. Just be very careful. That's bottomed out all the way. And let's put the bolt back in. That's bottomed out by hand. I'm going to put my ratchet back on it, and about 1/8 of a turn is all it's going to take to tighten this up properly. It's a very small bolt, and you don't want to strip it out or break it. You also don't want to crack this little tab that holds on the sensor. Before putting the shoe back together, it's a good idea to hit the 3 spots with some silicone paste or brake grease where the shoe usually touches, which is 1 at the top, 1 in the middle, and 1 little area down here. You don't need a lot, but this ensures that every time you operate the parking brake, it's nice and quiet and doesn't squeak. Do this to the other shoe as well. Push the shoe back, get the pin through the backing shield, and this is where you're gonna have to either have a large C-clamp or I'll just have your tools ready, because the spring needs to go on. Once the spring is on, you can bring in the locking pliers with that cap and make sure you line up the cutout on the cap with that pin. There we go. Almost had it. That's it's going to be tricky, but as soon as you line it up, you're going to want to twist it 90 degrees so it can clamp on there and it will lock itself in. All right, well, it's not perfect, but it's almost there. I'll try and center it up. And that looks like it's perfectly seated and locked in. So there we go. That's back together. I'm going to take a wire brush on this hub and just clean up the rust that's on here. It's not too bad. In the center, it doesn't even touch the rotor. Actually, only right here and on the outer edge is where the rotor touches. So I just want to clean it up so we can coat it with some anti-seize. That way the rotor doesn't get stuck in the future. Once you're done, hit it with a little bit of brake parts cleaner to rinse it off. And apply a thin coating of anti-seize on the center of the hub, as well as on the outer ridge where the rotor actually makes contact. In the middle here, you don't necessarily have to, but I like to coat it just so it doesn't rust in the future. But the inner and the outer ridges are the most important parts. You don't need a lot, because if you put too much, it'll actually squish when you put the rotor on, and then it'll start flinging everywhere, especially on the surface of the parking brake shoes, and you want to avoid all that. If your rotor has rust on the inside here where it mounts, clean it off with a sanding disc or wire brush, whatever you need to do, put a wire wheel on a drill maybe, but you want to make sure that it mounts flat. And then since we didn't mess with the adjustment of the parking brake shoes, they should be perfectly set just like they were before. And yep, it looks like they still are. I can hear them just barely touch, but they're not dragging at all. Reinstall the screw that holds the rotor on, and I recommend putting a little bit of anti-seize on the threads of that. Don't make this too tight, just snug it up a little bit. It'll just hold the rotor on, and then once the wheel goes on, that's what's actually going to do that job. Now take the caliper and put it over the rotor. Make sure the pads line up and everything, and the bracket lines up with the knuckle, and have at least 1 bolt ready to start as soon as you drop this in, so you can start mounting it properly and keep it lined up while you install the other bolt. There we go, they're both started, so let's bottom them out. .92 foot-pounds is the torque for both of these bolts. Reinstall the wheel. Put back all 5 of your lug nuts, snug them up in a cross pattern, and also in a cross pattern, we're going to torque them to 140 foot-pounds. Once again, 140 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Double check them all. There you have it, job is done.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.